So what would you like to do with your case? I assume, Mr. Parent, that you are not representing?
So McMahon cannot speak for me.
Okay, he's not speaking for you, but I am asking him a direct question, so I need you to let him answer.
Okay.
It sounds like he does not want my office to represent him, so I'm happy to withdraw.
You can dismiss yourself.
So would you like to represent yourself in the matter, Mr.
Please
Schuster?
do not tell me to shut up. You can dismiss yourself.
So he can't dismiss himself, only I can dismiss him.
Again, if jurisdiction cannot be proven, I move to dismiss this with prejudice based on the grounds that you cannot prove jurisdiction.
All right, I've reviewed this. You were driving in the city of Lake Forest Park. You were violating
Again,
laws.
I was not driving. Again, I have rights.
You were behind.
And my rights were violated. My rights were violated. My right. This is, I've challenged this jurisdiction of this court, and you have not answered that challenge, Ms. Jennifer. And so I have some questions for you.
Well, right now,
able to answer them?
I am not here to be interrogated by you. You are under the jurisdiction of this. I think you understand and you choose not to take in the information. Okay, well, Mr. Schuster.
I don't understand the nature and cause.
Today, we have a double feature spotlighting one of the most notorious sovereign citizens ever to grace this channel. His name is Johnathan Schuster, and he hails from Lake Forest Park, Washington. This defiant defendant has made quite the name for himself by boldly challenging the court's jurisdiction on numerous occasions. In both of these two cases today, Schuster doesn't just toe the line, he leaps over it, throwing the courtroom into complete disarray with his word salad, sovereign citizen scripts, and his contemptuous legal jargon. But will Schuster be able to outwit the judges and prosecutors with these convoluted legal arguments, or will his defiance land him behind bars? Stay tuned to find out.
Sui juris in propria persona. I reserve all rights. I, Johnathan Troy Faithful Schuster, comma beneficiary and sovereign, and here under fraud, menace, and duress, fiduciary advocate. This is a Social Security Sesticate Trust action, which you are now a real party and interest to. I'm here sui juris in propria persona. I've challenged the jurisdiction of this court, and I don't understand. So I do need some questions answered. On this matter?
I believe you were PR. Actually, bail was set at $2,000.
There is a bond on this matter, correct?
Yes, there is.
Okay, and so is my social security number attached to these charges in any way?
I don't believe so.
You don't believe so?
I don't have any record of your social security number. So as far as I know, I don't know your social security number.
No, I'm saying, is my social security number attached to these charges in any way?
Only in the extent that it's connected to your driving history.
So is that a yes or a no?
In some way, shape, or form, your social security number is in the system with records on you. That is true.
Okay, so you just told me there was a bond, which means this is commercial court.
It's not commercial.
Now you're saying that my social security number is attached to these charges. And so, which means this is a Sesticate Trust action, which you are a real party and interest to. And I just told you I was the beneficiary. You're supposed to be charging the trust. You're not charging the beneficiary.
Sovereign citizens believe that the government creates a secret trust in their name. They think this trust is funded by the government and contains large sums of money. In their view, the individual is the rightful beneficiary of this trust, but the government or banking system has illegitimately taken control of these funds. The belief in being beneficiaries to a trust is part of a broader sovereign citizen worldview that rejects conventional government authority and seeks to establish an alternative legal framework, despite the lack of any legal or factual foundation for these ideas.
And if you're creating bonds against my trust without my permission, I don't understand. Are you saying you're committing fraud trust?
I'm saying that you are subject to the jurisdiction of this court.
This matter cannot move until you've proven jurisdiction, and you failed to do so. And if you cannot prove jurisdiction, then this matter needs to be dismissed with prejudice because this is a commercial matter. I'm a non-US citizen American national by way of American Samoa. I'm beneficiary. I am here sui juris and propria persona, and we cannot move any further on this matter until this is either dismissed with prejudice or you can prove jurisdiction.
So what would you like to do with your case? I assume, Mr. Parent, that you are not representing?
So,
The man cannot speak for me. Like
Okay,
I said.
he's not speaking for you, but I am asking him a direct question, so I need you to let him answer.
Okay.
yes, so the court did appoint us on this matter. But it sounds like he does not want my office to represent him, so I'm happy to withdraw.
You can dismiss yourself.
So would you like to represent yourself in the matter, Mr.
Please do
Schuster?
not tell me to shut up. You can dismiss yourself.
So he can't dismiss himself, only I can dismiss him. I'm asking you if you wish to have an attorney or if you wish to represent yourself.
This is a trust or systicate trust action. And so I'm here sui juris and propria persona. You know what that means. And so we can prove.
Don't know what it means because it's nonsense, but nonetheless.
Prove jurisdiction, or we can dismiss this matter with prejudice.
So I'm not going to do that today. Here are your choices. You can have Mr. Parent represent you. You can choose to obtain private counsel, or you can represent yourself. Let's start there. Which of those
Nobody's
three?
going to represent me. I can present myself, as I
Okay.
said.
So you want,
initially.
so you wish to go pro se? I don't need you to read the script. I need you to tell me if you wish to go pro se.
I told you, I'm here sui juris and propria persona.
Ms. Roberts, are you there?
Yes, Judge.
My inclination is to set this matter over and see if Mr. Schuster wants to give it another shot with his attorney or go pro se. It looks like this is the first pretrial. I suspect he's not prepared to set for trial today.
What is the first one? There's no plead.
Okay, I'm not speaking to you, so you're gonna have to wait. I'm speaking to Ms. Roberts.
I mean,
Judge, I would ask that we set this matter over 1 week.
Do you want to come back to court in 1 week and try again?
we can finish this matter now.
We
There's no
can't.
need
There-
to
we
move
can't.
this any further because
So here's
it's
the
not
thing.
proven jurisdiction.
Here's the thing. It's not my position today to have to prove jurisdiction to you.
It is. It is your position because
it's
it is
not.
on the courts.
And I'm also not going to argue with you.
There's no
So
argument.
I'm going to have you come back to court in 1 week.
There's nothing you can prove that you have jurisdiction. This man does not speak for me.
So we're going to come back to court on July 1st.
That date doesn't work
Why doesn't it work for you?
because I'm a man. I have things to do. I've come here multiple times under duress with threats from your end, and I have no more time for this matter. And unless you can prove jurisdiction, there's no need for this matter to move any further.
But you're going to come back on July 1st at 9 a.m. If you don't come back on July
Are you
1st,
threatening me now?
I'm telling you, there's going to be a bench warrant issued if you don't show
You're
up. So
threatening me now.
I'm giving you the choice of showing up
No,
or a
I'm
bench
giving
warrant
you the
issuing.
choice to finish this matter now or be responsible for your actions.
We'll set this for July 1st. I'm
Would you
going
like to be responsible for your actions and set this further? Because you can do that, or you can dismiss this matter with prejudice.
I'm not going to do that today. So July 1st, 9 a.m. back in this courtroom.
Abigail, what's the reason for the threats, Abigail? You violated my rights enough.
We'll just hold Speedy for this
You
week, Ms.
violated my
Roberts.
rights enough. This matter needs to be dismissed with prejudice,
We'll see you back on July 1st,
or else what? You're going to threaten me?
or else the court will issue a bench
So
warrant.
you're threatening me now, Abigail.
I am telling you your
I'm telling you
options.
this matter needs to be dismissed with prejudice because you cannot prove jurisdiction. This is a
Signature
sesame
here.
trust action.
Signature here,
You're trying
please,
to
sir.
commit fraud.
Sir,
You're
Mr.
trying to
Schuster.
commit fraud. Miss,
So-
I'm speaking with Abigail.
You're done.
No,
you're
no,
done.
you can't tell me I'm done.
I
This
can.
is no, you don't have power to do that.
Your court case is
You
over.
don't have power to do that.
Sir, your hearing is over. If you don't take your paperwork and leave the courtroom, we'll have you remanded into custody.
You're threatening me now,
I'm
even more
Giving
so
you
than
a
you already
choice.
were. And if anybody tries to touch me, I'll charge them with assault and battery. So I will be gone.
Next, we can address Johnathan Schuster. This is for arraignment 4805-25748.
Come on up, sir. You have his, go ahead and have a seat, please. His rights at arraignment. Court.
My honor. So for the record, I've made the special visitation under duress pertaining to the matters of Johnathan Troy, Faifuleaso Maliatoa Schuster. For I am beneficiary, I am sovereign, I am man, the flesh lives, the blood flows. I am a non-US citizen, American national. I am sui juris imperfecta persona. I reserve all rights. I do not understand the status. And so I ask you, ma'am, what is your name? What is your nationality and what is your status?
I'm Judge Grant. I am a citizen and I'm the judge in this court. You are here subject to appropriate jurisdiction. So you are here for an arraignment. You've been charged with a crime. Today, you will be asked to enter a plea.
Ma'am, I object because a citizen cannot sit a bench, ma'am.
So I'm going to go through the information. It looks like you have been charged with driving with a suspended license, driving without a required ignition interlock device, refusal to comply, not having proper registration on the vehicle, expired over 2 months. And then there was also a driving violation. Wheels were off the roadway. Last two are infractions. So,
ma'am, jurisdiction cannot be proven unless status is established. You have not established status. And so if you cannot do that, I challenge the jurisdiction. And if jurisdiction cannot be proven, I move to dismiss this case with prejudice.
that would be denied.
Sovereign citizens often assert that all interactions with the government are voluntary and contractual. They view laws, regulations, and enforcement actions as offers to contract, which they believe they have the right to accept, reject, or negotiate. When they receive a traffic citation, they interpret it as the government offering a contract, which they can refuse by not engaging with it. Sovereign citizens believe that receiving a traffic citation or any other government-issued document is an attempt by the government to enter into a contract with them. This belief stems from their broader misunderstanding and misinterpretation of legal concepts, particularly those related to contracts and individual sovereignty.
So I am going to, at this time, review for probable cause.
Object. Again, I challenge the jurisdiction. And jurisdiction must be proven.
It's not going to happen today.
Jurisdiction must be proven.
To hear the charges, and I will be reviewing for probable cause, and then we'll make a determination as to whether or not you will remain in custody. And I will hear from the prosecutor as to that.
And if you violate my rights even further, ma'am, as well as the officer and the sergeant that violated my rights, who are also going to be getting sued, it would just add to that. And I don't think that you need to go that route.
While I review this incident report. Okay, so this is authored by Brandon Carlsrud, signed under penalty of perjury. All right, I do find probable cause with the charges. I will be entering not guilty, please.
Ma'am, you cannot practice law from the bench. I object.
Noted.
You cannot enter a plea for somebody that is, practicing bench from the law.
Unless you want to enter a plea of guilty today, there'll be a plea of not guilty. Understand you are objecting.
Ma'am, I object. I challenge the jurisdiction. Jurisdiction has not been proven. Status has not been proven or established. And once again, you haven't even established, your nationality or your status. I am a non-US citizen, American national by way of America Samoa. I reserve all my rights.
Is this something that we need to consider a competency evaluation for?
We may need to consider ordering ability to proceed, but to look at ADR. It looks like you have a driver's license that recently expired.
To question my competency because I'm establishing status and asking you to prove jurisdiction is outrageous. And so, again, if jurisdiction cannot be proven, I move to dismiss this with prejudice based on the grounds that you cannot prove jurisdiction.
All right, I've reviewed this. You were driving in the city of Lake Forest Park. You were violating.
Again,
the laws.
I was not driving. Again, I have rights.
You were behind.
And my rights were violated.
Traveling.
My rights were violated. My right to travel freely unencumbered was violated. There was no emergency in which the officer needed to put on his red and blue lights. And so, again, if status cannot be set, jurisdiction cannot be proven, I move to dismiss this matter with prejudice.
That's denied. So you've made your record. Right now, I'm going to directly appoint counsel from the bench. Ms. McDonald.
Again, I am sui juris in propria persona. I stand on my 2 feet. I'm in my proper person. And so I reserve all my rights.
I understand that, and I've acknowledged that. I'm not dismissing your case today. I'm going to hear from Ms. McDonald as to the city's position on release.
Yes, Your Honor, I am going to be asking that the bail remain the same. It looks like it's currently set at $2,000. I do have some concern regarding his willingness and ability to reappear if he was released on his own recognizance, as well as concerned about community safety and risk of reoffending, given his temperament in the court today.
And Your Honor, Mr. Schuster would ask the court to release him on his own recognizance. These are not violent offenses. I don't see that he has any convictions for violent offenses. There was an assault from 2021 that was dismissed. He may have a view of the law that is different than the city's, but that in itself does not indicate that he won't come to court or that he would in any way try to subvert court proceedings. So we'd ask the court to release him on standard conditions.
Well, the court can consider whether or not Mr. Schuster is likely to reappear for future court hearings. What I hear from him today is that he completely objects to this court having any jurisdiction. I don't have a good faith basis that Mr. Schuster will return if I were to release him. I do see that he has a prior conviction for DUI. He's on a deferred prosecution at this time in Seattle Municipal Court. He's not complying with conditions if he's driving without a license and driving without a required ignition interlock device. Also indication that Mr. Schuster will not abide the court's orders to appear on his promise. Want to look at the Seattle municipal case and see when he's next scheduled to appear.
Like you had mentioned too, in 2021, same situation, or not same situation, a situation occurred in which they tried to charge me. They didn't have jurisdiction. It was dismissed. And again, I don't want any charges against me because I do have the deferral, which would obviously violate that deferral. And so I will make any visitations, special visitations to the court to handle any matters pertaining to Johnathan Troy Faifale, Somalia Toa Schuster. I'm a man, I'm free, and I want it to stay that way.
I do see it looks like he's got at least 3 prior warrants. He has 2 priors out of Benton County, 1 out of Lower Kittitas. The previous warrants history.
And throughout this process of going to courts, I've had to learn a lot. And so I know it's no game to just not show and make visitations. That's not what I want to do. And again, jurisdiction does need to be proven, whether it's today or another date. And if you want to violate my rights even further by not releasing me on my own recognizance, ma'am, was it Jennifer Grant? Then, like I had mentioned earlier, you, along with the officer and sergeant, who are already going to be getting sued, I mean, there's no need to add you as well, especially when you know the law.
I don't see another I don't see another date set until February 12th of 2025 in the Seattle
In
case.
Seattle Municipal Court.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Schuster, I have to do what I believe is appropriate in this case, and that is to set bail, and any threats to sue me or to take any action against me, I can't be swayed by that. So
It's
you
not a
can do-
threat. It's just what it is.
And
Because my
absolutely,
rights
you can-
have been violated,
you can
and
do
if my
what you
rights
need
are going to
do,
be
but
furthermore
you can set
violated.
bail at $2,000. I do not believe that you will respond to the court's order to come back. I do base that upon the conduct in this case, as well as the prior FTA history. So bail will be $2,000. If you're able to post bail, you are to return for your next court date. You are to have no criminal law violations. You're not to drive unless you have a valid license and insurance. And
When are you setting that court date,
device
miss?
is required by the Department of Licensing. You will be represented because I'm going to assign counsel.
I am sui juris in propria persona. I present myself. I don't need to be represented by anybody. I stand on my own 2 feet.
These are criminal charges that have significant consequences for you, so it's in your best interest to have counsel.
Again, I
assist
stand
you.
on my own 2 feet. I do not need to be represented by anybody. I present myself, sui juris in propria persona.
If you want to be your own counsel, you'll have to go through a full colloquy and waive all your rights to have representation. It's your constitutional right.
I do not accept being represented by anybody. Again, I present myself. I am beneficiary. I am sovereign. I am an American national, a non-US citizen American national by way of America Samoa, like I had mentioned earlier. I reserve my rights, and I do not need to be represented by anybody.
All right, the time for trial expiration is 8/9/24.
Again, if you are practicing law from the bench and putting a plea in for me, I object to that. You cannot practice law from the bench.
Next court date will be,
So for the record, you have not established status, you have not proven jurisdiction, and you're denying my rights. Is that correct?
I don't know what you think would establish my status, but I do have status to sit in this court.
You are a
and hear
US
these
citizen. A
cases.
US citizen cannot sit a bench.
Sorry for your next court date.
You're asking me to sign something that you pleaded for me. Is that
Yes,
correct?
I'm giving you notice of the conditions that I have set as well as bail.
You said
I'm
yes,
noting
you
that
pleaded
I
for
found
me?
Probable cause. If you are able to post that bail and get out of custody, those are my expectations that you will come back on that court date and that you will abide by the conditions that I have imposed. Those are being ordered today. So that is what's happening today. And we are giving you that notice. You can refuse to sign that notice, and we'll note that you were provided a copy in writing and that you refused to sign.
I do not understand.
Which part of it do you not understand that you have a?
I
piece
do
of
not
paper
understand how
with
you can
the
practice
document?
law from the bench.
I'm the judge and I am setting the conditions.
Well, you also entered a plea for me, correct?
What we're doing at arraignment is the plea is being entered. You're not pleading guilty, so on your behalf, I'm entering a not guilty plea.
So, correct, you
cannot-
are pleading for me,
There's
correct?
two pleas.
And if you
not
plead
guilty
for me,
or
you're
guilty.
practicing law from the bench. You cannot practice law from the bench, so I object.
Right.
You're-
I'm going to give you that piece of paper and we're done with your hearing today. We will see you in 2 weeks. Okay?
Jennifer
Okay.
Grant, you will be
Okay.
taken further. No, I have.
Let's address. We can address Johnathan Schuster, 480525748.
For the record, this man.
Why don't you come up to council table, please, so we can create a record?
No, I don't want to, and give you any personal jurisdiction, so I'll stay right here.
No, you'll come to the council table if you would like to be heard and make a record. So you need to come up and turn on the microphone.
No, I don't need to do that for me to be heard.
We are audio recording, so to be heard, you need to come up to the table and sit with the microphone.
You don't have to, I don't have to come up there for you to hear me. You can hear me perfectly fine.
I can hear you, but we are creating a court record,
I don't
which is
think you
audio
have
recording.
jurisdiction by doing what you said, because you don't have jurisdiction over me. And so, for the record,
Mr. Schuster, I
I
did,
reserve all rights.
Sovereign citizens mistakenly believe that by refusing to contract with the government, they can avoid legal obligations. They argue that since they never explicitly agreed to follow certain laws, like traffic laws, they are not bound by them unless they consent. This notion is rooted in their misunderstanding of how laws work, as they fail to recognize that laws are not optional contracts, but rather enforceable rules that apply to everyone within a jurisdiction. The belief in the right not to contract is part of a broader sovereign citizen ideology that seeks to reject government authority by misconstruing legal principles, ultimately leading to misunderstandings and legal troubles.
I did put Mr. Parent as standby counsel. Right now, you don't represent yourself. You have standby
Appoint
counsel.
counsel to me
Well,
without my permission. He has no permission to be my counsel. I'm here sui juris, appropriate persona. I, Johnathan Schuster, am here under fraud, menace, and duress. I've made a special appearance to this court for those reasons. I've challenged the jurisdiction of this court, and you have not answered that challenge, Ms. Jennifer. And so I have some questions for you.
well,
Are
right
you
now,
able to answer them?
I am not here to be interrogated by you. You are
Well,
under
I
the
just don't
jurisdiction
understand
of this.
what's going on here.
I think you understand and you choose not to
I do
take
not
in the information.
understand
Okay,
what's
well,
going on
Mr.
here.
Schuster,
I don't understand the nature and cause of what's going on. I don't understand how you can practice law from the bench. I don't understand how you can appoint counsel when I've told you over and over and over again that I'm here sui juris appropriate persona. I'm here of my own right, in my proper person. He does not have my permission to represent me in any way.
well, it doesn't sound like you know how to represent yourself either,
I
which
need
you
to
would,
represent myself.
well, you would. Either
No,
you
I
have
don't.
counsel or
I
you
need
are
to
acting pro
represent
se.
myself. And so, like I have told you, I'm here sui juris appropriate persona. I have challenged the jurisdiction of this court. You have not answered that challenge. We cannot move any further until you've answered that challenge. Is this common law jurisdiction, or is this an admiralty maritime jurisdiction?
So,
Right.
Mr. Schuster, this is Carmen McDonald. I'm the prosecutor on this particular case. I think where we're at right now is you're being charged with an offense. I can barely hear you, which means the record that you're trying to make is not being picked up and not being recorded. So everything you're saying is not being preserved unless you go to the table up there near the microphone. So that's number one.
For the record, I reserve
if you
all
would
my
like-
rights. If you
If
cannot,
you would like,
I will
if you,
step up so you can hear me better, and I will
none of
speak
it's being,
louder.
none of it's being
I will
preserved.
speak louder so you can hear me, but I reserve all my rights. And I'm speaking much louder than anybody else prior to me has spoken.
Mr.
So I just want
Schuster,
to make sure that
Mr.
the
Schuster,
reporter can hear
you
me.
are making legal arguments. All right, you are making legal arguments. They should be preserved for the record, which means it needs to be picked up and recorded.
I will
So-
begin again so that the recorder
You're
can
not
hear me.
choosing to be silent, you're choosing to make a legal argument, so we need to have that on the record.
For the record, I reserve all rights.
You've made that,
I, Johnathan Troy Colin Schuster, have made a special appearance under fraud, menace, and duress. Fiduciary Jennifer. I've challenged the jurisdiction of this court, which has not been answered. This is a Social Security Sestakay trust action, which you are now a real party in interest to. This is a military admiralty jurisdiction under maritime law. However, you must realize that you have no such jurisdiction without also having a valid international contract in dispute. I am not aware of having entered in any international contracts, so I deny that any such contracts exist. will you please instruct the prosecuting attorney to inform the court if there is such a contract? And if so, place it into evidence and explain how I'm party to it and then compelled to perform under it.
Your Honor, I may be challenging 1077 in this case.
I understand that the city's bringing up whether or not you're able to proceed in this matter. So whether or not you're able to understand the nature of the proceedings and be able to assist your attorney or to represent yourself, you have to be able to meet that threshold. And the fact that I think it's not that you don't understand, I think it's you choose not to understand, and that you have someone giving you information that you are spewing in court. So you're simply off base, but I don't know that it's due to a mental defect that is causing you to not be able to
challenge my competency because I have challenged the jurisdiction of this court, and you have not proved jurisdiction.
In Social Security or contracts
You
or
have to prove
maritime.
jurisdiction before we can move any further.
So that's just not how it works in this court, and
No,
I don't think
that's
you
how
have
it
the
works.
legal.
You must prove jurisdiction because I have challenged the jurisdiction. If you cannot prove jurisdiction, then I move to dismiss this matter with prejudice.
That's denied.
And so, Miss Jennifer, can you prove
I'm Judge Grant, so I'm going to
Jennifer,
have you.
can you establish the jurisdiction? Can you prove jurisdiction?
Ms. McDonald, I don't know that this is him not understanding.
I do not understand the nature or cause.
Well, he doesn't have legal training, so that I think is
That does
clear.
not matter.
Well,
If I'm here sui juris and propria persona, I'm of my own right. I'm in my proper person. You've created a bond on this matter. You've attached my social security to this matter. You're trying to charge my trust without my permission, which is illegal. It's fraud, and I'm not going to stand for that. So you must prove jurisdiction before we can move any further. You've already tried to practice law from the bench, which is illegal. You cannot do. You've tried to assign counsel when I've given no power of attorney to anybody, and we cannot move further until you've proven jurisdiction.
so Ms. McDonald, what I think would be the next steps, I don't know if Mr. Perrin, have you been able to provide any assistance to him on a standby basis?
No, Your Honor, he doesn't want any assistance.
Okay.
So I'd ask to withdraw his.
So we could go through the colloquy, we can provide him with the form for rights. I don't know that he's going to choose to participate in that. But that would be the next step and set it for trial. So Ms. McDonald.
I don't have a problem setting it for trial. If he's going to waive counsel altogether, then I think we need to have him sign the waiver of right to counsel.
Absolutely. I'm just saying I don't know that he's going to participate in that process either.
Right. No, I understand
We have a
that.
speedy trial at
It is the
August
burden
9th.
of the state to prove jurisdiction. The prosecuting attorney has not done that. And so what we have here is we need to dismiss this matter with prejudice. And I motion to dismiss this matter with prejudice.
Denied.
Based on the fact that the prosecuting attorney has not proven jurisdiction.
Mr. Schuster, would you like to sit at this table away from council so that we can hear you on the
This isn't
microphone?
counsel.
Well, you could sit at this table if you'd like. There's a pen and a form and a microphone for you if you'd like.
We cannot move until jurisdiction has been proven.
Yeah, it should be a.
You have failed to prove in jurisdiction.
Jurisdiction is something that we prove at trial. It is a factual issue as well.
We cannot move any further until jurisdiction has been proven. And none of you have done that.
Right. So Mr. Schuster, did the court say that was end of August or?
It was August 9th, this speedy trial.
Okay. So.
And if you plan on having me back here, you're taking away from my ability to provide and work. And I cannot just be coming back here because it takes my time away from working. And so if you want me back here, it seems that you have Zoom port available. I'm more than happy to make a special appearance via Zoom, but you're taking away my time and freedom to provide for my family.
Does the August term start August 6th, Your Honor?
It does.
So I would request we set it during August term.
All right, so Mr. Schuster, you've been charged with driving while your license was suspended in the 3rd degree and for operating a vehicle without the required ignition interlock device and refusing to comply with law enforcement officer. You are on a deferred prosecution in another court, and the consequences are extreme for you. You are subject to another court, and they could very well
get in trouble. And you have to prove jurisdiction. You haven't done that, and you've failed.
Obviously,
to do that
you
over
believe
and
that
over and
courts
over
do
again.
have
And
jurisdiction over you.
Obviously, you have to be able to prove it, and you haven't. And you can keep pushing it and doing this, but it's just a waste of time for everybody. I definitely understand that this is not what you think it is. And this is just a waste of time at this point. So whatever you need to do to prove jurisdiction, but I know you can. So if you want to waste more of everybody's time, go ahead. Because obviously I'm not going to allow you to threaten me anymore, which you've done.
Nobody's threatening you.
Yes, you're telling me if I don't appear, that you're going to put me into captivity. And that's ridiculous for what's going on here. That's absolutely ridiculous. And so
I don't think
this matter
anyone
needs
is
to be
told that you're
dismissed
being
with
put into
prejudice.
captivity.
And whether we need to take this to trial or whatever y'all need to do to prove jurisdiction, I mean, go ahead. But obviously you can't prove jurisdiction. So
I'm looking for the more
waste everybody's
detailed
time, please.
counsel
Waste everybody's
waiver.
time. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I don't know that he's done that yet,
No, he hasn't. I have a streamlined version, but I want him the formal,
the detailed one.
the detailed one.
We can also, Your Honor, just set it for trial today with an intervening pretrial, provide him with that document and enter the waiver at the next hearing prior to allowing counsel to withdraw.
All right.
Counsel should have never been appointed because I've never gave my power of attorney to this counsel. And obviously you did that to practice law from the bench, Miss Jennifer, which is illegal. You cannot do that.
Mr. Schuster, you're charged with a crime that has potential jail consequences and fines, and so your rights need to be protected. This is for your benefit.
There is no injured party. There is no sworn complaint of an injured party. This is absolutely ridiculous. It's a waste of everybody's time. And you're taking away my ability to work over and over and over again. And I won't stand for you violating my rights. And if you're going to acquiesce, then okay, you're proving that you don't have any jurisdiction.
So this is a detailed advisement should you wish to waive your right to have counsel present and you want to act as your own attorney.
I said over and over again that I'm here sui juris and propria persona. You know what that means.
This case is going to be going to trial, so you need to have counsel.
I'm here of my own right in my proper person. You know what that means.
So there's the form.
I've
for you
never
to-
signed my power of attorney away to anybody, especially this.
You need to be respectful. You are really out of
I
line,
said
Mr.
this.
Schuster.
I didn't say anything disrespectful.
You are being
This
very
person-
disrespectful.
You
to
were
the
being very
court.
disrespectful, actually,
the court
because
and to Mr. Parent.
you're violating my rights.
So I'm
forcing
going
me
to set
to
this on
come
for
in
the
here
August term. I'm going to
over
have
and
you
over
take
and
this
again,
form.
wasting my time.
Mr. Schuster.
And you're taking away my
I'm going-
ability to provide and work. Because
Have a
this is
seat there so you can fill out
free
this
place.
form.
What's that?
You can have a seat there so you can fill out the form.
You're dismissed. Do you need anything else?
Yes, I do. I need you to take that form. So we're gonna have to go through that because this case is gonna be going to trial. It's gonna be set on the August term. That would be August 6th, and that will be at 9 a.m.
All right, you're dismissed.
No, you're not free to leave yet, Mr. Schuster.
I'm not free to leave.
Not yet. No, you're not.
Why am I not free to leave?
Because we are still addressing your matter.
This matter needs to be
Yeah,
dismissed.
it's not going to be dismissed right now. So right now it's getting set for
You can't
trial.
move any further until you prove jurisdiction.
And the readiness hearing will be July 31st, and that will be at 2 p.m. And that hearing, Mr. Schuster, is on Zoom.
Any jurisdiction over me whatsoever. I've not pleaded. I've not given you personal jurisdiction.
Yes.
And you practice law on the bench.
So, Mr. Schuster, if you choose not to come to your court hearings, a warrant will issue for your
And you're
arrest.
threatening me again, telling me
Yes,
if I don't
you will be
play your
expected
game,
to appear.
and you just said yes. Oh my goodness. That if I don't play your game, you will put me in captivity. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, these are jailable offenses, but for this
Absolutely
hearing,
ridiculous, Ms.
we need
Jennifer.
your presence to appear.
Absolutely ridiculous.
All right, let's get a court date form for him.
Absolutely ridiculous.
What's the date for the intervening pre-trial?
Could you back there?
We can set a pre-trial. Let's do it on the 22nd.
The prosecuting attorney also needs to provide any contracts that I've entered into internationally,
Here's your court date. Could you please sign for that?
especially if this is an admiralty maritime jurisdiction, which obviously by the gold fringe flag it is. So
Mr. Schuster, you are in a criminal court and there are court rules. If you wish
criminal
to
matter,
have,
this is a criminal matter, you said?
Mr. Schuster, if you wish to have discovery, then you need to abide by the rules.
Criminal matter?
Yes, and if you wish
Yes,
to have,
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure you said that. Thank
it's a criminal matter. If you wish to receive discovery, then you will need to
you.
make.
What is the jurisdiction? Are we under an admiralty maritime jurisdiction?
No, we are not. Mr.
Are we under
Schuster.
a common law? What jurisdiction are we under?
We are under the criminal jurisdiction of the state of Washington. So if you wish to have discovery, then you need to request,
I gave you my permission to be under that jurisdiction, which I haven't.
you will need to request discovery from the prosecutor's office.
I'm not a U.S. citizen, American national. That's not a jurisdiction.
If you wish to have discovery, you need to request it in writing from the prosecutor's office and we will
You said
send.
your nationality was a U.S.
And then
citizen.
we,
Is that what you
and then
said
we will,
earlier?
and then we will send you the discovery,
Not nationality.
all of the evidence that we have against you at trial. Did you understand that?
I don't understand what's
Okay.
going on with this.
So-
This is ridiculous.
Here's my
Kangaroo
suggestion,
court.
Mr. Schuster.
Kangaroo
Mr.
court. And so
Mr.
since you
Schuster.
guys are gonna waste everybody's time even more, goodbye.
Mr.
Mr. Schuster, you need to sign for your court dates. I'm giving them to you orally.
You have a good day. Talofa.
If you don't appear for your court hearings that were given today, a warrant will issue.
All comments, viewpoints, interpretations, and insights expressed in this video are for education and entertainment purposes. All individuals featured in the video are to be presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Please do not attempt to contact, locate, or engage with any individuals featured in the video.